Greetings. In this brief APA tutorial, I would like to go over APA 7, APA's newest citation manual style. There's a lot of big changes with APA 7, starting with omitting the publisher, city, and state. You only list the publisher by name. There's only one space after a period, and DOIs are now listed as URLs. DOIs and URLs also need to display as an underlined link in the references section. There's no running head on student papers, so this will be a big transition. There is the retrieve from change. Retrieve from is now no longer displayed unless the site is a new site and has relevancy, like it changes recently, and you need to show the daily version. Use gender-neutral pronouns, they, and try to avoid those kind of specifics. And there are different font choices. Times New Roman 12 is just one of the styles. Verify this with your professor, which style they prefer. Here's an example of a title page. Notice the title is bold and centered. You'll see the authors, the department, university, course code, and course name, date, and professor's name listed. This is the APA style as cited in the manual. Your professor may have a different requirement. Verify that information. The first page of your document will again have the title bolded and centered, and then your information will flow double spaced, one space after a period, 1-inch margins all around. That's kind of the same. Here's a sample reference page. Notice the word reference is bold and centered, and then the hanging indents for each reference listed alphabetically by author's last name. The URL links are underlined and linking showing in the reference section. Here's an example of a book reference. Author's last name, comma, first initial period, year, in parentheses, followed by a period, title italicized, first letter capitalized, and the letter following a punctuation, for example, frameworks, is capitalized, and then only the publisher name. Here's a book with an editor. It just has ed period in parens and then a period, and the rest of it follows the same as the book citation. Here's a religious work. Previously in APA 6, you'd only cite 1 Corinthians 13:1 King James Bible as an in-text parenthetical citation. Now, however, you will cite the full work in your references section and you use the original date of publication. In the King James Bible, that would be 1769, or Shakespeare. Shakespeare also shows the original published date and the edition date. The digital object identifier has changed a little bit and now shows as a URL with dx.doi.org in front of anywhere you have a DOI number. If you can't find it, try searching for the publisher site in Google and you should be able to find it. If it's not available, use the journal database URL. Here's an article showing the DOI. Notice it has multiple authors. There's 5 authors, and then they're all followed by commas, and then the year in parentheses. The title capital is automatic, and neural are capitalized. Human brain mapping is italicized because it's the journal title, the volume, and the page number followed by the DOI. Here is a database article with no DOI showing the database access URL instead of the DOI. Same format. If you have no date, you put ND period with the period after the parens. In some instances, you may need to include the retrieve from with a date, as in this heuristic definition from Merriam-Webster. Presumably it changes often, so we want to capture the date it was retrieved because the definition is flexible. It could be most applicable for a news site where the definition or the news site changes. If you're including a citation with a quote that includes a parenthetical citation, do not omit that original parenthetical citation and include it within your quote. If you have a secondary source, such as Alcott's diary, as cited in Nicholson, you would follow this format and then include Nicholson in your references. Parenthetical and narrative citations are used in your document. You wouldn't have a parenthetical citation without including it in your references, and vice versa. Whenever you have a parenthetical citation or narrative, you always include the author and the year. The page number is optional and necessary if you're doing a direct quote. Here are 2 examples of direct quotes. The narrative citation has Crowther with the year in parentheses and the page number at the end. The second example is a parenthetical citation with the full author, year, and page number at the end. Both formats are correct. Here are several more parenthetical examples. You might have two authors with the same last name, so you'll include a first initial. You might have a parenthetical cite with multiple sources all citing the same fact. You would include it this way. You might also have a source that does not have page numbers, so you may select a chapter number instead. If you have multiple authors, use an ampersand in the parenthetical and the word "and" in the narrative form of the citation. When you have three or more, it is et al., period, comma, and then the year. If you need help, refer to the APA manual or ACE Writing Center. You can submit your papers to Smart Thinking. You can also come and consult with the library. We hope you found this training helpful. Thank you.